So I'm privileged, and thank you again. You see, the issue of African independence came up again last year when most of the African countries were celebrating their 50th anniversary of independence. The question is, are we truly independent? Politically, you may say because the colonial people have left, the colonial masters left politically, at least in the open. The other colonialism is that of our economy. You see, we come from countries where leaders can hardly take decisions that will meet the fair needs of their people. When this lobby, industrial lobby, is around, corporate lobby is around. There are oil companies, I come from the Congo Basin, that is endowed with some of the richest God-given resources of the world, if at all there are. But it is an eyesore when you visit my part of the world. The people that live around those resources are condemned to poverty. Why is it so? Why is it that the people that live around oil wells, or where there is forests, or where there are diamonds, where there are these natural resources, are usually in conflict and in poverty? It's because there is this mafia around those businesses that we dare not talk about. And we see how companies influence elections in our countries. You don't want to say that maybe heads of states in many of the countries where we come from are determined by earth. It is a fact. It is documented how that has been happening. Even before independence, during independence, up to today. When they come to strike deals, my colleague will be talking about land grab, which is an issue where I come from. When they come with business, one of the first things is whosoever is signing cut deals under the table. They become shareholders in that very company. Meanwhile, they have no dimes, but their own share is just their signature. And politicians pick it up. If you want to protest, they say, are you denying jobs to our people? Tell me, where are these jobs? We know areas where companies have pulled out after having swept all the resources, and they become ghost villages or ghost, I don't know what you call them. And they saw the wounds that they have created on the environment and on the people are still there for generations upon generations. Why is it happening this way? So, I come from Cameroon. We initiated programs in my organization on environmental justice. We had to look at the laws of Cameroon, and we saw one of these articles, these silent articles on standing. It's actually Article 8 sub 2 of the 1996 Framework Law on Environmental Protection and Management in Cameroon, which says any legally constituted body that promotes the protection of the environment can take action against whosoever as far as it is in the interest of environmental protection. Many people are scared to use that article, and many people are ignorant about it. So we tried with little cases, taking the urban council to court to clean the streets of the poorest neighborhoods, because it is their duty and it is the right of these people to have a clean and healthy environment. It is in our constitution. We have some successes. But at what price? We've also trained communities, especially women, in oil exploring areas to be environmental whistleblowers, and also for their effective participation in environmental impact assessment. Look, this is what happens. The laws are very clear about public participation in environmental impact assessment. But when they come for environmental hearing or public hearing, it is not in the language they will understand. And the experts come with their laptops, and then they put graphs on the board. Those things mean nothing to my mother, who has never been to school. But she's supposed to have a say in this process. Don't ask me whether their contribution even influences the final decision. But we said we will not just sit there and fold our arms. Let's train these people, at least by developing simple checklists, depending on the kind of activity that will be taking place, whether it's road construction, oil exploration, deep sea port construction, wharf, and all those things. In those categories, depending on the ecological zones. So in 2009, that was October 2009, my son was born on 2nd of October. So I was on my way going to Bangkok for a meeting, and then it was his birthday. My wife was not home. So he was there with his grandmother, and I decided to turn back because family first for me. And when I took the plane from Amsterdam and I was coming back, I read on the newspaper that was in the plane that communities sent oil giant to the drawing board. It is one of these communities that we train in environmental impact assessment, participation in environmental impact assessment. When these guys came again, they took the document, they sat with them. It was mostly women. They said, one, we don't understand this language. You've written it in French and English, we don't understand. So we cannot even discuss it. For those who understood English or French, they said some of the mitigating activities that you've promised are far off in the ocean. You have not told us how you would take us there to verify. So they were taken aback. They had to go back. I said, thank God Augustine was not in Cameroon, so nobody will charge me for subversion. I only trained them. I was far away in Amsterdam, coming back home. I'm just speaking to the point. How do we do with the communities? Probably we don't have to give up. We have to train these communities, make them aware of their rights. We also produced some posters. When you come to Cameroon, you have some. We produced some posters on environmental rights and obligations. And we have signed an agreement with the ministry, with the government, that their own consideration was to make those posters available in public offices, environmental public offices, both in capitals or cities and in the communities. And it is about, we've put pictures that attract the attention of villagers. And then we've simplified the law in public jargon, so that at least an old woman can see a picture, she's attracted by that picture. She asks a small boy, school boy by her, to say what is there that has been written about this picture. Then they can say, this is very insignificant, but at least it is something. You don't know whose life has been changed by that. So I just want to encourage all of us who are working within the communities, whatever thing, the only secret that in my perspective works is the one that you let the people speak for themselves. You will not always be there to speak for them. So if they can speak for themselves, the Idena community spoke for themselves. I was far away in Europe. I was not in Africa. It worked. Maybe it can work for others. So thank you so very much. I will ask my brother to speak to land grabs, which is still business that is brought by big corporations that bribe our policymakers, and then they have their way through.